Tony, thanks. AAA getting flooded with calls over the last few days.
And the extreme cold putting a lot of stress on vehicles. And tonight, we find out why some of those calls the drivers are responding to. Meteorologist TJ Del Santo is live in the weather yard with more Pinpoint Weather Team coverage.
Well, it's probably no surprise that on the coldest morning in 32 years, AAA was bombarded with service calls. With a low of -9 Sunday morning and -1 Monday morning, many vehicles just didn't want to move.
Yesterday and this morning, these were the kind of days that really put a stress on cars, especially cars that haven't been that well maintained.
John Paul of AAA said that a car a little out of tune or overdue for an oil change could be harder to start with a weaker battery, especially in this kind of cold.
When the temperature drops to about 30 degrees, you lose about a third of the battery capacity. When it drops to 0, you lose about half the battery capacity.
And weak batteries was the big issue the past 2 days. Paul doesn't have any specific numbers about the number of service calls AAA has had, but they've been busy.
We're doing somewhere between 3 and 4 times our normal call volume. So literally thousands and thousands of calls.
He said that AAA does plan ahead, hiring and training about 100 temporary employees before the weather gets cold to help on busy days like the past 2.
This is the kind of weather that in one way we live for.
If your battery is 3 to 4 years old, it could be nearing the end of its life. And if you needed a jump start in this cold, that's a sign.
A jump start fixed the symptom of the car, which was not starting, but it didn't fix the real problem, which could be a bad battery connection, or even a bad starter in the car.
So if you needed a jump start over the past couple of days, you should probably bring in your car to make sure everything's working okay. And don't forget the tires. Yes, tires do lose air pressure in this kind of cold. Live in the weather yard, I'm TJ Del Santo, Eyewitness News.